pulsing, strobing like a heartbeat. But look closer. There's no sun, just
As
light.
American forces rolled into Iraq. Officially, it was about weapons of mass destruction, about preventing terrorism.
Please stop what you're doing and listen. This is not a drill.
Welcome back to my channel, everybody. Today we're going to run through a mix of weird and crazy conspiracies on TikTok. Please hit that like button, share, comment, and subscribe. And let's go beyond the curve.
As we left the moon after a successful TEI, this is the view that we observe.
There's a people who lust for goodness sake. Chemtrails in the sky, they're controlling our minds. This ringtone's the truth that everyone finds. It's the conspiracy theorist hotline, uncovering secrets all the time. If you hear this tone, and the truth will be told about aliens, Bigfoot, and conspiracies all.
Hey, thanks for joining me, TikTok. This video is in response to a video that I had made about 2 weeks ago or so, and it was a video saying former naval intelligence officer warns the people of America. And a lot of people responded. I have a lot of questions here. I didn't expect the views that I got. If you go to my channel, I don't make content like this. I mean, I'm a drummer, okay? When I got out of the Navy, I started playing the drums, even when I was younger, and my channel was about music. It wasn't even about any of this stuff. I don't make any money off of TikTok. My channel is not monetized. I'm not making any of this stuff up. I am not spreading lies or deception or any of it. If you believe that, then just keep scrolling. If not, stick around because this is going to get kind of interesting here. There was a lot of great questions by you people, the viewer. So I want to be able to answer some of these questions for you. There was a lot. So what I did was I chose 8 that I thought were needed answering, very interesting questions. Some of them were not even part of the topic that I was speaking about. So let's get into it, okay? The first question, I have to put on my glasses. Sorry, my eyes are not that great anymore. First question, what do you know about them spraying the skies? I know a lot about that, actually. Answer in short, okay? The reason why they are spraying the skies, and they usually start around 7:30, 8:30, 9:30 a.m., is to block out the blue natural light that comes from the sun. The sun has 3 spectrums. It's going to be morning, afternoon, and dusk. And the sun puts out a natural light, which would be like a blue light that is very essential for your neurowaves and neuropaths in your brain. This is a fact. You can even ask any neuroscientist or, doctor, and they will tell you the same thing. So when you block out the blue light that comes from the sun in the early mornings, it basically dumbs you down. Your brain cannot function properly, and you are a lot easier to control. There are other reasons that they do this, but this is one of the main reasons. I've heard people say, oh, they're blocking out Nibiru, and listen, we live in a dome. Let's just get this straight, okay? There is no solar system.
How you like that? Said we live in a dome. There is no solar system.
There are other places beyond our reach, but it is not in outer space, okay? It is not.
Outer space does not exist. Other places would be from beyond the ice wall, beyond our known world.
The light flickers, pulsing, strobing like a heartbeat. But look closer. There's no sun, just light. A glow without a source. A stage lit before the actor appears. Then, moments later, a disc begins to rise. It doesn't shine, it's grabbed. The light stretches, reaches for it, and hooks on. That's no sunrise. This is a launch, an activation, a handoff. And when it sets, It doesn't drop behind the horizon. It folds into it, like light retracting, like a curtain closing on a scene that was never real to begin with. Wait, did you see that? Right there. Look at the separation between light origin and the island's edge. This isn't fading light, it's disconnected light. Lucky for you, I've seen this before, and I got it on tape. Now tell me, is that how a spaceball sets? Nope. What you just saw was a zoned controlled light. Programmed, timed, dropped. Not setting, but exiting. Welcome to the Truman Coast.
At the end, he said, just light, a glow without a source. The source would be heaven. Remember when God created the earth and the heavens, he said, let there be light. He didn't create the sun that day. That leads me to believe the sun and the light of the earth are two different things. Science probably knows this, but would never tell you, because if they figured it out, somebody would silence them.
Forces rolled into Iraq. Officially, it was about weapons of mass destruction, about preventing terrorism, about democracy. But what if that wasn't the whole story? What if buried beneath the ruins of ancient Mesopotamia, beneath the cradle of civilization itself, was something far more dangerous? Dr. Michael Salla was one of the first to suggest that the Iraq War may have had another hidden objective: to gain control over an ancient stargate. The idea seems ripped from science fiction. Salla's theory draws on ancient Sumerian texts, Babylonian myths, and declassified government testimony from whistleblowers who claim the U.S. military has long been aware of portal technology left behind by non-human intelligences. According to these accounts, Iraq was once the domain of the Anunnaki, extraterrestrial beings who
Fallen angels. That's what almost all these wars all over the world have been. It's finding stargates, portals. It's destroying documents and evidence of advanced civilizations before us. It's destroying proof of a reset. These wars aren't fought over anything other than to hide knowledge, to take away knowledge.
either created or heavily influenced early human civilization. The site in question? Uruk, one of the first major cities in human history. Some claim the U.S. invasion targeted the ancient city of Ur, the ziggurat of Ur, and even the museum in Baghdad, which was looted within days of the invasion. Among the stolen or seized artifacts were tablets, cylinder seals, and relics inscribed with strange symbology, many tied directly to the myths of the Anunnaki and the gates of the gods. Multiple independent sources, some cited by Salla, others echoed in classified testimony and even remote viewing sessions, claim the U.S. military secured a buried device beneath Iraqi soil, a portal, a stargate said to be dormant but recoverable, a device that allowed travel between worlds or dimensions. According to Salla and those aligned with this theory, the U.S. government feared that Saddam Hussein had either discovered this artifact or was attempting to activate it. Hussein was obsessed with Babylonian grandeur. He even rebuilt the ancient city's Ishtar Gate.
Who today remembers the legends of the grandeur that was ancient Babylon? President Saddam is one who does. Indeed, for the president of modern-day Iraq, ancient Babylon has more than mere historical significance. This is the southern palace of King Nebuchadnezzar. In the 6th century BC, he was the Middle East's top dog. And this is the throne room of King Nebuchadnezzar, the ruler of the greatest empire the world had known until this time. And he made sure that everyone did know about it too.
And you can see some inscriptions from the time of Nebuchadnezzar, which tell as it is. The translate of this inscription: I am Nebuchadnezzar, the king of the world. Reconstruct this building to my family and to my God. I hope to help me in the lower life, that's mean in the date life. He liked to put his stamp on all the bricks there in Babylon.
The palace was rebuilt by President Saddam. He sees Nebuchadnezzar as the first Iraqi revolutionary and a man to emulate. It says, in the era of President Saddam Hussein, all Babylon was reconstructed in 3 stages. From Nebuchadnezzar to Saddam Hussein, Babylon is rising again.
So this is going to be the last video I probably post until I finish organizing the playlists and uploading to YouTube and getting a little more organized. But this is its own playlist of several different components. So I wanted to go ahead and at least make a single video about it. This map behind me is the old map of California. There are dozens of old maps that show this from like 500 years ago. Even pictures of blimps and trains, like in their common area inside the blimp or train, are maps on the walls that show, you can see glimpses of this. So this is California as an island, and then I got it cut off, but California, and then it has a strait in between the island and the mainland. That's not what I'm pointing out here. There are 3 components to this. First, the number of horses in the western United States and Central America is the highest number of horses in the world, like combined. There are like 20 to 25 million horses between Mexico and North America, the west side of North America, and a little bit of the northern part of South America. Compared to like China and Russia has like 6 million horses. The highest population of horses is in this area of California, western United States, and Mexico, and northern South America. So keep that in mind. Now you have this right here is the Great Salt Lake today. It's the same shape and everything, but this river doesn't exist anymore. The Colorado River comes off this way and kind of shoots out, and the Grand Canyon goes this way. So this river doesn't exist anymore. When you overlay the maps together, when you have Salt Lake, the Great Salt Lake up here, the Hoover Dam is around right here. So now you have the Great Salt Lake, Hoover Dam. This river does not exist anymore. What did they call the Dead Sea in the Bible? The Salt Sea. This river is the River Euphrates, and the Hoover Dam is where the 4 fallen angels were held captive. In the Bible, when it says that I think it's Revelation 9:20, I don't remember what exact verse it is, but when the 4 fallen angels are, when they're loosed from their prison, which is the Hoover Dam, it says they lead an army of 200 million horsemen. Not soldiers, not an army of 200 million demons or whatever, 200 million horsemen. So now we have this area, and Central America and western side of North America has the highest number of horses in the world, combined, compared to everywhere else in the world. And now we have the Hoover Dam right here at the base of this river that is no longer there. It's dried up. So Great Salt Lake, 25 to 30% salt content compared to the ocean, which is like 3.5 to 5%. That is the Salt Sea, aka the Dead Sea. This is the River Euphrates. The Hoover Dam is where the fallen angels were imprisoned. It dried up.
It tells us in the Bible that when the River Euphrates dries up, that those 4 angels will be released from their pit. And that's the start of Revelations.
They were loosed, and the horses, their 200 million horsemen, is what they led into battle. So again, this is going to be its own playlist, but that gives you the kind of concept in a nutshell. Anyway, cheers.
So the Bible tells us that these 4 angels were locked up underneath the River Euphrates in a pit. And these weren't any angels. These were like super angels. They were the baddest of the bad, and that's why they were locked in a pit under the Euphrates. And in Revelations, it tells us that end of times will begin when the Euphrates dries up, and then these 4 super angels, super demons are released under the earth. Well, they got us looking over in the Middle East, but I don't believe the Euphrates is over there. And time works a little different in heaven. Just because that's been dried up for quite some time here, might have been no time at all in heaven. So could be any day now, could be any year now. Just got to keep your head on a swivel and keep a relationship with your Lord.
Everyone, please stop what you're doing and listen. This is not a drill.
What's the most resilient parasite? An idea. A single idea from the human mind can build cities. An idea can transform the world and rewrite all the rules. Which is why I have to steal it. He's hiding something, and we need to find out what that is.
We gotta break out of here. Give him the kick. This was not a part of the plan. Wake me up! Wake me up!
I know we have still not shattered that highest and hardest glass ceiling, but someday someone will, and hopefully sooner than we might think.
As the galaxies go whizzing by over the glass domed ceiling. Now tell me that doesn't work for you.
If it's true, does it change how I live my life? This is something that is not an easy answer because of the magnitude of what we're talking about here. How it will change your life, first of all, when you understand it, is dramatic, to say the least. Will it change you from having to go to your job every day and the things that you typically do every day? No. But when this knowledge becomes more mainstream and these agencies are starting to be held accountable, and you understand that they're all participating in this, not just the United States government, not just NASA, but China, Russia, India, all of them have space programs. They all have the same symbolism. They're all doing the exact same thing to their citizenry. And the first thing you have to understand about this is that the deception goes all the way to the top. And when I say all the way to the top, you have to kind of get rid of the notion that the people at the very highest levels are working together. Why would they do this? Why are they trying to hide the fact that we are on an infinite plane or on a flat earth rather than a ball? Well, if you isolate people into the idea that they're on a blue marble that's in the middle of a universe that is really insignificant, and there's thousands or millions and billions of other worlds and possibly other civilizations, that makes most people think that we are insignificant and that we did actually come about as some sort of an accident. Now, when people believe that, their minds are much more malleable into being given the idea that there is no God, there is no creator. And because of that, that also gives the controllers this fertile soil to build other deceptions on.
All the deceptions are built on the same thing, that there is no God, that you're insignificant.
Why do you think that Truman has never come close to discovering the true nature of this world until now?
We accept the reality of the world with which we're presented. It's as simple as that.
It's about total control, mental, physical, spiritual, every way, shape, form possible.
You have to remember how big of a conspiracy this is. This isn't talking about just the JFK thing, or isn't talking about just 9/11. It's on an umbrella kind of system to where it is the biggest deception that there is. It actually exposes every other deception, and nothing else brings down the power of the elite, because it really exposes education, science, the economy, television, museums, universities. Think of all the things that have been fooled. I feel worse for the people that are out there building satellites, the people that are out there actually working for these space agencies, the people out there teaching in schools as professors, because they would all come to the conclusion eventually, once this gets out, that they've all been contributing to the lie.
Why do you believe what you believe? Prove it without using NASA or any other space agency, the government or military of any country in the world. Why would I say that? NASA has been proven to be liars time and time again. I could spend a whole weekend here showing you the lies of NASA. How many of you believe your government is 100% honest and trustworthy? And how many of you know the military answers to their government? Okay, so if those three sources are all proven liars, why would you trust them? Fool me once, right? Shame on you. Fool me twice, shame on me. I say, continue to believe pathological liars and you're an idiot. But that's what we've all done. And so, I look at these stuff, we've all seen the textbooks, we've all seen the videos and movies and all these things, and there's so much of it. Do you know what the budget NASA has? You know how much they get? Have you seen the movie Gravity? Okay. That's made for about $100 million, give or take. And if you saw the movie Gravity, that was pretty impressive. I saw it on IMAX, big screen, like, wow. I mean, I felt like I was with Sandra Bullock flying around in space, freaking out myself. Okay, this is what they're able to do with $100 million. What are you able to do with tens of billions of dollars a year since the 60s?
Now, in my opinion, we're being lied to not only about the shape of the Earth, we're being lied to about the very nature of reality itself. In 1954, Admiral Richard Byrd, a highly decorated naval officer, conducted an interview where he alluded to the idea that there may very well be land beyond the poles.
Admiral Byrd, you've been to both the North Pole and the South Pole. Is there any unexplored land left on this Earth that might appeal to adventurous young Americans?
Yes, there is. But strangely enough, there's left in the world today an area as big as the United States that's never been seen by a human being. And that's beyond the pole on the other side of the South Pole from Middle America. And I think it's quite astonishing that there should be an area as big as that unexplored.
That's a tremendous
So
challenge.
there's a lot of adventure left down at the bottom of the world.
Admiral Byrd was talking about beyond Antarctica, land that he's seen when flying over the ice walls. If that little short 7-minute video there didn't make you really think, then you're most likely an NPC and you're on the wrong channel.
That's what we're all trying to figure out here. But there is the Antarctic Treaty where, 53 or so nations have signed saying that no one's going to lay claim to Antarctica and that there are massive restrictions for travel there. You can't just get up and go to Antarctica on your own. You have to have a tour guide with you. There are only certain entry points, and there are limits on where you can go search.
Personally, I think the unconquered South face is the only one worth scaling. It's a 20,000-foot sheer wall of ice, but that's never stopped me before. Welcome.
No, I just want to stand on top of the wall and piss off the edge of the world.
What difference does it make? What difference does it make? Yeah, that's their favorite line. Got a lot of people, what difference does it make? You can't figure out what difference it makes? If you can't figure out what difference it makes that the people running your world of lying to you over and over your whole life, if you can't figure out that someone lying to you is trying to control you, suppressing of information, of knowledge, is control. Deception of information and knowledge is a form of control. So what difference does it make? It makes a big difference, because once they start omitting information or lying about information about where you live, they're doing it to control you, period. Why am I having to explain this to critical thinkers in the truth movement? The way you control billions of people is to keep them divided and fighting each other. Flat Earth is not a psyop. Flat Earth destroys the psyop. Every psyop has been used to control us for as long as they've known about it. So this system has been in power and control for hundreds of years, ever since they convinced the rest of the world that they didn't know where they live. It created this fantastical scenario to make people feel insignificant and to follow those that appear to know better. Why is the flat earth so important? Because it shows the deception. And if everybody would just come together and demand answers, they would be in checkmate. They would not know what to do.
Train up a child in the way that he should go, and when he is old, he will not depart from it. I believe that's why we have so many who are indoctrinated to still believe and fight so hard for the heliocentric model. The reason being is because we've been taught the globe model since before we had the ability to think for ourselves. Think about that. Before you could think for yourself, before you could form rational thought, you've been taught that you live on a spinning ball, although your five senses tell you something totally different. Our senses tell us that the earth is flat and stationary, that the sun and moon and the stars rotate above us just as we see, that they make their annual cycles in such a way that we can calculate days, months, and years of the passage of time, just like in Scripture. The earth in itself works like a well-designed timepiece, and we all know that any timepiece that we can think of has a designer. What if the lie is to hide the existence of that designer? What if they're lying to us about this because they're hiding God?
Well, they know that it's all designed to hide God from you. I say it all the time on my channel. But all the lies, they all fit in together, and it's all to hide God.
Is Christopher Reeve still alive? And if so, why is he posting about the Mary Magdalene M on the palm of your hands? So Christopher Reeve, who's best known for portraying Superman in the 70s and 80s movies, apparently died in 2004, either linked to complications from his injury that left him wheelchair-bound. Some say sepsis, some say cardiac arrest. But yeah, he apparently died on October 10th, 2004. Age 52, but he recently tweeted this. It says, "You already heard the story about my death in New York, but have you seen any proof of that? You haven't, because I am still alive and well, breathing the purest air in a winter wonderland. After all I've been through, you really thought I would commit suicide?" Which wasn't what he was apparently died from. "That's what I wanted you to think, to protect my family, loved ones. Now I am finding out the shadows, ready for vengeance. I had enough time to obtain information, evidence about the corruption in the world, and now I am ready to speak. Soon I will publish everything and leave it up to you to decide. Don't be a slave to the system. Don't let them control you. Look around with your own eyes. What do you see? Corruption prevails everywhere, but soon that will all change. The deck has been stacked and the tokens have been loaded. The clock is ticking." And he also posts about the M on your hand, asking who has it. On the 29th of July, he also posted about the Bank of America teaming up with Ripple. If you remember that poor lady that was found dead on a yacht when we were talking about Martha, she was called Martha, and the boat she was found dead on is called the Ripple. And interestingly, in Superman, Clark Kent's mother is Martha, and Batman's mother is also called Martha. Reeve is an interesting surname because it's also the surname of Keanu Reeves, who plays, obviously, Neo in The Matrix. Christopher Reeve studied at Cornell University and the Juilliard School, which is for actors, alongside Robin Williams, and they became lifelong friends. Glenn Close, who plays Cruella de Vil, recently said Robin Williams would still be alive if Christopher Reeve was still alive, which is interesting because a lot of people think Robin Williams is Uncle Pappy. Elon Musk's middle name is also Reeve, which is interesting. Some have suggested that Christopher Reeve is now playing Elon Musk, but I don't know, I can't see that one myself. He was thrown from a horse in 1995, causing him significant spinal cord injury that left him paralysed from the neck down. and he became a big advocate for disability rights, spinal cord research, and stem cell research. Superman is known to have a weakness, which is kryptonite. Kryptonite comes from Krypton, Superman's home planet, apparently. When it exploded, pieces of the planet were irradiated in space, forming different types of kryptonite. The most common form is that green kryptonite that we're aware of. It weakens Superman, causing pain, loss of powers, and prolonged exposure can even be fatal, which when we've been talking about emeralds and God's throne room being shining like an emerald, that's very interesting. There is also red, gold, blue, white, and black kryptonite. The gold can permanently remove Superman's powers. The black kryptonite can split Superman into good and evil halves. Lex Luthor is Superman's arch nemesis in the show, and he's originally from Gotham, which links with Batman again. Batman is set in Somerset, which is very interesting given Somerset is where Glastonbury is in England. In the comics, Lex Luthor is a mad scientist with green hair. And we've been talking about Trump a lot recently, and some say there's two Trumps, one with a red tie, one with a blue tie. The blue tie one is his evil half, meant there to make him look stupid, and the red tie Trump is the kind of real, or the good Trump. So what do we think? Do we think Christopher Reeve is alive? Is Robin Williams still alive? Are they at this winter wonderland? Where is this winter wonderland? Obviously, winter wonderland would be associated with Christmas, the North Pole. There's the song, isn't there? Walking in a winter wonderland. The lyrics: later on we'll conspire as we dream by the fire to face unafraid the plans that we've made, walking in a winter wonderland. Anyway, let me know your thoughts, and I'd love it if you would subscribe to my channel if you like my content. I'm going to start.
Hey man, what's going on down at Area 51?
Some of the giants down there are coming out of stasis.
You know, that kind of...
What I heard...
Go ahead.
Huh?
Yeah, go ahead.
What I heard was that this is first-hand knowledge through an email that's encrypted. We use some cloud. I'm going to have to write it all down because I almost can't remember how we do it. So, what they told me was that one that I told you about, that's 18 foot tall, I talked about it a few times that I've seen it look like it's glass or ice. Well, the top of I guess the thing holding it back cracked.
Yeah.
And fell off.
Ooh.
And showed about half of his head.
So you're saying that this giant is running around Area 51 now. What are they doing to subdue the thing?
Well, they're shooting at it and stuff, but I told them, you know, when I left, they knew about the copper bullets, and I'm sure they're not using them because if they were, they would have done handled this situation. It would have been over. See, if it would have been me when I was security control over there, I would have busted them in the head with a copper bullet when that first piece cracked off.
Yeah, I would have too.
You know what I mean?
Yeah. Oh yeah.
Because I mean that's what they are. And they're cannibals. They eat people, you know. Some of them's feet are 36 inches long.
How many giants they got down there, Greg?
I would say at least 100. I mean, I never counted, but I was thinking about it. It would be about 80 or 100.
Are these left over from the flood, or where'd they come from?
Yeah, they come from the flood. Because everybody says, well, what happened? I have people ask me, what happened to when God flooded the earth? Well, they, you know, they're spirits. You know, they were fallen angels. So they know everything. They know that their end is coming and all that. So when the flood was coming, they burrowed themselves deep into the ground. They don't like the water. But I guess in a certain way, I don't know this positive, but in my book, in a certain way that they're bound to the water. I don't think any of them have a land base except for like Dulce, Area 51, Area 52. Area 52 is just southwest of Salt Lake City.
By the Hoover Dam, somewhere over that way.
So if you still don't know about the Grand Canyon, if you don't know about giants living in North America, yes, cannibalist giants, flesh-eating giants, running around, eating their adversaries and wearing their hands on their waist. If you have any doubts, you came to the right place. Some receipts in this video. First and foremost, the gentleman that you're looking for, if you want to connect your research, you want to try to figure out exactly who is behind the big fix, who is the person that the Smithsonian would call to make sure that everything really went right and, that nothing slipped out. Well, his name is Dr. Hay. I put it right on the screen here for you. That's important because while this gentleman was running around to all these things that they say are conspiracies, funny that they were sending this same person. And meanwhile, he amassed the largest collection of artifacts in North America. And when he passed on, he donated them to the Smithsonian. Now, if that's not a two-step, that they're working on these sites, folks, our history should not be a mystery. And it is because of the corruption and the lies that cover up the truth of our history. And I'm grateful that TikTok did this so that we can bear down on some history as we do in our lives. We've done a live every day this week. We've given out a free book every day this week. So unlike the other people on TikTok and the other applications that are driving you towards a race war, we are bringing you to the truth. We are offering it to you for free. You don't have to spend $50 on manufactured books that were made up with crayons. Here, you're going to get actual history books for free. We brought one on every night this week. Tonight, it's 2 free books. Please share this. Please boost it. The truth about history and about who we are and where we come from in North America and why we have cannibalistic giants running around that they won't tell us about. Why in the Grand Canyon did they find Egyptian-style, Tibetan-style artifacts? And why was Dr. Hay everywhere here in Georgia, too? Next week, we're going to take you up to the Saltine Nakuchi Mound, where you're going to read on a sign that's carved in cast iron that Dr. Hay was there. This person is behind most of the major things that you think are not true. He was in charge of making sure that the information got handled correctly. Again, he amassed this giant collection, and when he passed on so that it would never be seen, he donated it to the Smithsonian. So I'm grateful for your time. Please come over to Human Origins Revealed and join the conversation of authentic truth of the original people of North America, okay, where we celebrate the original East Coast tribes that you don't even know their names. You don't know about the Massawomacs. You don't even know the Susquehannocks' real name, the Shayikbi, the Mengwe, the Allegheny, the Lenape. You see, you know the names that they wanted you to know. And we're going to teach you the names that you need to know.
Psalms 23:4. Even though I walk through the valley of the shadow of death, I will fear no evil. I will fear.
What's that? Oh, a group of people that were testing new AI glasses went to a nearby zoo in San Diego, and what they saw completely freaked them out. Tell me more. Yeah, this group of researchers were testing out these AI glasses to just verify that they're working properly, that they can identify animals, give you information about them, things like that. This is where it gets a little bit eerie, because when they looked at these animals, such as they were looking at a tiger, it did not look like a tiger. It looked, what they said, like some sort of weird demonic creature. And then they were asked the AI, what am I looking at? And it identified it as a scary demonic creature. Okay. The AI responded, this does not look like anything from Earth and looks like something from the spiritual realm, which you are now looking at. I love that. But the way that this creature was looking at them freaked them out, and it started to move slowly closer to them. So they left the zoo in a hurry. Oh, goody.
Don't want you to know this. School bus. Prison bus. School lunch space. Prison lunch space. School lunchbox. Prison lunchbox. School. Prison. No wonder how do you guys spend 40 years in this prison.
School and prison. How funny how similar they are. And I just learned this week from my daughter who went back to school, she's in the 5th grade, that they assign the children numbers. So rather than say their name when they need them to do something or come up to the front of the class, they call them by number. That sounds a lot like prison to me. Well, I hope you enjoyed today's mix of weird, crazy, and creepy conspiracies. A lot of truth in there, a lot of things to unpack. Please share this with people. Hit that like button, comment, subscribe. I'll catch you in the next one. Thank you.